evening, and we are going to do one of the lessons of class 9 literature, Beehive, one of the poems on killing a tree by Gieve Patel. Well, children, the poem on killing a tree is ironical. What the poet says, he means just the opposite. He talks about killing a tree, but on the contrary, he wants that we should not kill or we should not destroy a tree. The fact that a tree is our lifeline. So, at one time, while he's talking about the various ways a tree has to be killed, on the contrary, he gives us a message that a tree should not be harmed or should not be uprooted, should not be killed, as it is our lifeline. Like any other human being, tree also undergoes the pain. It bleeds when it is cut. When any part of the tree is cut, it bleeds like human being. A white liquid comes out of the tree when we cut the bark of a tree. In the same way, when any organ of a human being is cut, it starts bleeding. The tree also bleeds like a white liquid, and it also undergoes the pain of being cut or being troubled. The fact that the poem highlights, ironically, a beautiful message for the society that it is not easy to kill a tree. The tree has grown deep inside the earth, consuming years of sunlight, air, and water. So it is not easy for any human being to kill a tree. A simple jab of a knife cannot kill a tree. It has grown deep inside the earth, consuming years of sunlight and water and minerals. The poet talks about the roots of the trees that is deep inside the earth. So if a tree has to be killed, its root has to be pulled out of the earth entirely, then only it can be damaged. The poem conveys a message that trees are our lifeline, so they must not be killed or harmed. The poet also instructs how a tree is killed. He gives out the message that there are something pious like human being among the trees. He conveys that tree is very deep rooted and cannot be wiped out easily. In the same way as the evils in the societies are deeply rooted and they cannot be removed or uprooted easily without changing the environment. The central theme of the poem is that it takes time for a human being to cut a tree. The poet considers the tree as a living organism. According to him, it has the right to live like any other creature. The man is killing it with utmost cruelty and callousness. The poem indirectly gives out a strong idea that trees are our lifeline, so they must be protected. The poet means just the opposite of what he says. He implies that a person will be called a murderer if he kills a tree. He says that a knife will not do any harm to a tree unless the root of the tree is pulled out of the earth. The fact is that the tree has grown deep inside the earth. The earth has always worked as an anchor to the tree, protecting the root of the tree, making it undergo or grow underneath. Therefore, it is not easy to kill a tree. So, the central idea of this poem is that it is very difficult to kill a tree. It has to be uprooted from the earth, then only the tree can be completely killed. Now, the line by line explanation of the poem. It takes much time to kill a tree. The poet says that a tree takes a lot of time to be destroyed. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. Here, the poet wants to say that a simple jab of knife cannot kill a tree and it will not harm it. The tree has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight. The tree has absorbed years of sunlight, air and water from the soil, and therefore it is not easy to kill a tree. It behaves like leprous hide. When we cut a bark of a tree, it starts bleeding. And if we cut the tree just above the ground, the miniature branches will grow once again and the leaves will sprout out and turn into a new tree. So hacking and chopping cannot cut a tree. It alone cannot do any harm to the tree. Not so much of pain will it do it. The bleeding bark refers to the bark of the tree which is cut, which starts bleeding white liquid. And the poet compares it like that of the human being whose organ is cut, it starts bleeding. In the same way, the tree also bleeds out white liquid. So if we cut the tree close to the ground, the curled green twigs will grow again and the miniature branches will turn out and finally the tree will take the former shape after some time. Therefore, cutting the tree close to the ground will not wipe it out. Rather, it will allow the miniature branches to grow again and take the former shape of the tree. The root is to be pulled out. If we really want to kill a tree, we have to pull out the root of the tree out of the earth. The earth has been compared as the anchoring. The earth has been compared as an anchor, as an ultimate protection to the root of the earth, and it has just protected the root of the earth by allowing the root to grow underneath. And it has grown so strong that if we really want to kill a tree, we have to pull the root out of the earth entirely, out of the earth cave, and then we have to expose the strength of the tree to the sunlight. The source white and wet, the most sensitive hidden one for years inside the earth, the matter of scorching, and eventually the tree is now being pulled out and then it is to be hardened, browned and twisted and finally withered. So that is how a tree is finally destroyed. At one hand, the poet is talking about, killing a tree. On the other hand, ironically, he is cautioning mankind not to harm the tree. Now some question answers. Question number one. Question number one is that, how does a tree become strong? A tree grows and expands gradually. Various forces of nature, including the earth, help it in its growth. A tree grows on earth, feeds on its crust, absorbs years of sunlight, air and water. It grows completely strong. Next question. What is the most important thing to do while killing a tree? The most important thing to do while killing a tree is to uproot it out of the soil. If we really want to kill a tree, we have to uproot it out of the earth. A tree is not killed all of a sudden. So long as the roots are intact, the tree cannot be destroyed. Therefore, the most important thing to do is to uproot the tree out of the soil. How is the tree, or how does a tree completely get killed? The trees will go through a process of, browning, hardening, twisting and withering. Then ultimately the tree gets killed. A tree takes a long time to get itself killed. Only when the roots are exposed to the scorching heat of the sun, the tree gets completely killed. And the last question, what is the meaning of bleeding bark? What makes it bleed? Bleeding bark means the twigs which are cut mercilessly. They leave a liquid substance, white in color. If any part of the human being is cut, it starts bleeding. In the same way, the bleeding bark of the tree bleeds a white liquid, and that comes out of the branch of a tree. The human beings also suffers the pain of its organ being cut. In the same way, a tree bleeds its bark when it is being cut mercilessly. So the poet here conveys a message that we should not kill a tree, or we should not chop a tree, because tree is just like any other human organism, any other human being, and it also undergoes the pain of being cut or being damaged. Therefore, the underlying message of the poem is that the tree is our lifeline and we should not damage it, we should not kill it. A tree is deeply rooted underground, like the evils of the society, which are deeply rooted. If we really want to kill a tree, we have to root it out of the earth. In the same way as the evils of the society get uprooted by changing the environment, by changing the perception of the society. And that is what we conclude now by saying that this poem is just a message not to kill a tree, rather, we should protect a tree. Thank you.